Yes, our perspective today. Okay, so for this afternoon, okay, this is our first topic for finals, and yes, we will be incorporating all that we have discussed from prelim to midterms. Okay, so if you have already read in advance, this topic also includes some articles under Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, now what does it mean when technology and humanity cross? So here, the Declaration on Human Rights and technology are explained kung ano yung interrelation nilang dalawa. Okay, so before we move on to a more controversial topic, let's start with the Declaration on Human Rights. Okay, so for the good life, it entails living in a just and progressive society whose citizens have the freedom to flourish. And yes, as a human person, we also have the autonomy to make choices. Okay, that would help enrich our lives and the society as well. Now, the UDHR started in December 10, 1948. Bakit nga ba nagkaroon ng UDHR? What is the purpose of this? And how can this benefit us? Now, we already have laws in our country that would protect our individual rights, and that is covered in the Bill of Rights, okay? Article 3 of the Constitution. Now, of course, ito nga lang sa Universal Declaration on Human Rights, it's more like pangkalahatan or a country-to-country rule on how we should deal with human relationships and okay, others. Now, it would also, this would also be the standard for fundamental human rights and for the Universal Declaration and protection of same. So, ilang articles na included dito out of the many. Kasi nga, this is just to give us an insight on what the Declaration on Human Rights is all about. So Article 1 here states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Okay, they are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. So, of course, when it comes to human rights, it also, faces a scientific and technological advancement. These are some of the critical factors in one's journey towards eudaimonia. Remember the good life that we discussed in our last topic for midterms? Okay, eudaimonia or the good life. So, for here, we are exercising the right to accept or reject, minimize or maximize, as well as evaluate and decide on, the scope and function of science and technology that would, indicate human flourishing, okay, in the field of science and technology. So for Article 2 naman, everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, okay, without distinction of any kind, like race, color, sex, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Okay, so there's no discrimination when it comes to the Declaration of Human Rights. All of us are seen equal kahit ano pang nationality ka galing, kahit ano pang bansa mo or mahirap man or mayaman. We are all protected under the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, yes, Justin?
Okay, ma'am, excuse me lang po. Di po kayo masyadong maintindihan kasi po maingay po.
Just a second.
Charger, sorry. Yes, so. Resource good, ba? Okay, I'm going upstairs.
Siya noise cancelling.
1,510.
Nag-andap-andap yung ano. Ako, hanap ka na?
Oo.
Kasi ko na yung niya, noise cancelling feature.
Meron muna sa akin.
Pa-filter na yung sound.
Ano yung sa smart na? Di ba din pinalabas yung ano? Yung
Smart gigabit.
Anyway, saglit. Okay, moving forward. Thank you, Justine. I already informed my colleagues na i-minimize yung noise. Hindi ko alam, this is supposed to cancel out noise that isn't part of what I'm talking, what I'm saying to you guys. Anyway, ayan. Klaro na? Or medyo pa rin? Malakas pa rin yung noise. Okay, thank you. So, yeah. In addition to that, yung sa Article 2 then, also includes no distinction made on the basis of political, kung ano man yung political beliefs mo, jurisdictional, yeah, from where you are, international status, whether kung acknowledged as a sovereign country ba yung bansa mo o hindi. Kasi merong country na they see themselves as a country, but in the international scene, they are seen as just a territory. Like, for example, Taiwan. Diba? Taiwan sees itself as a country, but China won't accept Taiwan as a separate country. Kasi territory siya ng China. Okay? And yes, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing, or under any limitation of sovereignty. Okay? Now, Article 3 also further states that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. So, eto siya is also included in our Bill of Rights. Yun nga lang, there are certain conflicts. Say, for example, some states in the US and even in Europe would allow abortion. Okay, but in our country, it's not allowed. Diba? So, may conflict yun. Now, everyone has the right to life. Yes, we do. But what about the life of those, say, for example, conceived fetus? Okay, so in our laws, it is considered born for all purposes. Okay, it beneficial to it. But in other countries, it is the right of the woman over her body to take charge and decide on what she wants to do. Okay, should she, conceive or i-continue ba niya o hindi? Okay, pero it's not supposed to be, say, with respect to the laws of their country, since it is allowed under their law, with respect to their law, it's okay. Okay, but under our law, since hindi naman siya pwede, so it's not, we do not adhere to it. Pero yun nga lang, sa Universal Declaration of Human Rights, nakalagay siya, everyone has the right to life. So kung titingnan nyo, the rules stated under the Universal Declaration are vague. Okay, it's not specific. Okay, it's directed to everyone. So when it comes to interpretation, doon nagkakaroon ng ethical dilemma on how to understand these rules. Okay, so it's just an example of what I'm stating to you. Okay, para baka ma-question nila, ay bakit sa ibang bansa ganito? Tapos sa Universal Declaration hindi pala pwede. So does it mean that this country violated the Declaration of Human Rights? Diba? Pero if you would look at the UDHR as a whole, there are no penalties included in the UDHR. Okay? So just because of a certain occurrence doesn't mean na violation na siya agad. Unless it is on a large scale basis. We will get to that. So Article 4 states no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and slave trade shall be prohibited in all forms. So an example on this one is human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, at saka, well, I guess this is just some of the concerns worldwide. Pero pang siya para maging large scale na siya. Okay, that's why all countries are collaborating to help each other out, put a stop to this kind of trade. Okay? So, dun siya nagkakaroon ng hindi naman siya dilemma. It's more like countries working together in order to combat a social issue that has grown internally and expanded internationally. Okay? Now,
Si Campo nung wala ako.
Yeah. Servitude
Pero may
is
bakit
allowed. Okay. Now, for Article 5 naman, no one should be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So, under this one, kahit na, say the person is already listed under Interpol, malaki na yung nagawa niyang pinsala from one country to another, once captured, he or she should not be subjected to torture. Okay, to admit to a crime that he or she has committed. Because after all, as a person, a criminal per se, that person is considered innocent, okay, until proven guilty. Ganun yun. And he or she has to go through with due process. Ganyan.
Bawal blow ba?
Kahit na prisoners of war or refugees seeking asylum, they shouldn't be subjected to torture as well. Okay? Much as our country protects us wherever we go, we are also protected by the country kung saan tayo pupunta. Okay? And it is part of their part of their responsibility. Yan yan. So Article 6 here says everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Okay. And Article 7, I think now Article 6 is self-explanatory. Article 7, all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. Everyone is entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. Okay? So kung titingnan mo, I mean, in our own country, who would even discriminate their own fellow, di ba? Wala naman yan. Pero once you get to go around and travel to different places, you would be observing these kinds of scenarios happening. Okay? So, be it, even if you're a foreigner in another country, you are also, entitled to equal protection of the law, just like the locals are. Okay. Now, the UDHR has a long and bloody history and it has existed after World War II. Bale, prior to World War II, there were no laws protecting the humans or the individuals in general. Parang ano lang siya, for country to country lang na under the law ang protection natin. Now, for this one naman, it serves as a common understanding of what the fundamental rights of each individual are. So, nung natapos na ang World War II, di ba, gumawa ng United Nations. Nung nagkaroon ng United Nations, these countries, came together and decided to make the Universal Declaration on Human Rights that would put value over the life of a person. Okay? Kaya hindi na hindi na siya anong tawag mo dito, as part of being a civilized society, whenever countries would go in conflict with each other, the citizens must be protected at all times. Yun. So that's putting a value over the life of a person. And these rights also apply to everyone everywhere around the globe. It is also imperative na much as we know our own local or domestic laws, or under those laws under the Bill of Rights, it is also important that we are fully aware of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. That way, we would be able to live these rights and to prevent injustice and oppression. Okay. Now, what is the connection of UDHR to technology? Technology was already defined during our prelim, diba? We have techne and logos, and technology is usually, attached to the word technology. And when you hear the word technology, it basically covers everything: ideas, principles, machines, inventions, okay, and others. Kaya nga, I guess it's safe to say that even you yourself is a walking technology. All the ideas that you hold in your mind, in your brain, are all very important. Yun. Now, one way or another, each person in society is directly or indirectly affected with technology. And you have already elaborated this one when you made your essay, diba? About, how technology, affects you as an individual, as a student. What can you contribute, to your country para magkaroon siya ng development. Of course, in our everyday lives, we survive because of technology. Kaya nga, when I asked you, would you be willing to give up technology, or at least can you give up technology? Okay, none of you said yes, you cannot give up technology kasi parte na yun ng buhay mo eh. So it already became an inevitable part of our lives, and even so, just like in the allegory of the cave that was introduced by Plato himself. In the allegory of the cave, or the cave theory, he explains that we human beings are prisoners in the dark. Okay, and then once we get acclimated with that kind of environment, we get used to it. Okay, and yun nga lang, it's part of our nature na curious tayo. Okay, we wanted to see what's beyond the dark. As for some people, they're just used to where they are. Okay, sanay na sila. Ayaw na nila ng iba pang environment, iba pang advancement, kasi okay na sila kung saan sila eh. Now, if, for example, some of the prisoners in the dark saw a ray of light and some shadows moving, okay, they get curious kung anong meron dun sa labas. Now, some of them broke free from their chains inside the cave, so lumabas sila. And they saw light. They saw that people were working together, were walking back and forth, okay, just taking their part, playing their role in society. Okay, and they wanted to invite, hey guys, labas tayo, maganda dito sa labas. Of course, some might come with them, some might not. Okay, so meaning to say, once a person is able to experience something new, something that yung nagustuhan niya, okay, wherein gumanda ang pananaw niya sa buhay, gumanda ang perception niya on things, and they wanted more for themselves. Nobody wants to go back from the way things were. Okay? Yan. So anyway, ponder upon this idea. What do you think of technology? Is it a necessity or is it a want? Okay. Now, you've already also explained in your essays, the importance of technology on your life. I mean, in your life. So, technology brings about convenience in our everyday existence. It brings about pleasure kasi we also use technology as part of our entertainment, diba? Even in family gathering. It also brings us happiness, and it also helps us when it comes to communicating with our peers, loved ones, and even in the workplace. Now, anything or too much of technology is bad for us. Kaya nga, laging ini-emphasize ni Martin Heidegger na much as technology is important, we should also take some time to those things that really matter. Ano yun? Like spending time with your friends, with your family, and setting technology aside. Okay, or let's just say resetting yourself and bring back yourself to society. Okay, that way you'd be able to see a different picture. That there's more to life than just using technology 24/7. Okay? And yes, there are also some ethical dilemmas involving the use of technological devices. Kaya nga, yung misuse ng technology also produces bad results. Much as we say na, ay, maganda yung technology kasi dahil sa mga modern gadgets that we use at present, marami akong nababasang information. I get to be updated with the recent news. I don't have to look into information in the library. Once I search it, it's already there right before me. Okay? Too much information. Okay? But then are you even absorbing all of this information? Now, what are some of the ethical dilemmas involved in using technological devices? One question I would always ask my students is, at what age did you start to use um, devices? Okay, some of them mentioned 8, some of them 10, yung iba naman 12. One mentioned 16 years. Okay, so well, the ones, the people using technology are actually getting younger and younger. Kaya nga, I'm sure you've read articles or even heard about stories of the batang 70s, 80s, and 90s. Kasi noong time na yun, wala pa technology eh. Nag-boom lang ang use ng cellular phones at the beginning of year 2000. Okay, so during mga 80s, 90s, as children were growing up, they have to get outside of their houses in order to socialize with people, to play with other children. Okay? And there's even a limit when it comes to the use of television. Kasi kung di mo alam yung programa, ayaw mo, you don't want to watch it. Okay? And you can't choose. Kasi naka-program yan eh, na may schedule ba. Kung gusto mo mag-watch ng cartoons, then you will have to wait for the time in order to watch your favorite cartoon. Okay, so basically we are forced to socialize with people and spend time with fixing our, or let's just say building friendship and relations, human relations. Okay, now some said na 10 years old, some said na 12. So if you would notice in your generation, kung ganun na kayo na age nag-start, in the next generation, like the generation now, kasi mga ano na kayo, di ba? 20s, early 20s. Sa generation now, the children using gadgets or even modern technology are already getting younger and younger. As young as 2 years old, as young as 3 years old, nakatutok na sa tablets, sa computers, or even cell phones. Now, what does that tell us? Okay, so how much more 3 generations from now? Siguro nasa tiyan pa nakagamit na ng gadgets. Okay, which is actually affecting the childhood of an individual. Okay, kaya nga sabi nila all adult traumas have an effect on childhood development. It all boils down from there. So how are we going to, ensure that children have a good childhood memory to think upon, to ponder upon by the time that they reach adulthood? Okay. So anyway, in here you will see the timeline of television from the 1930s up to 2010. Okay. Siyempre, 2024 na ngayon, all televisions are smart TV na, which you could even use as a monitor or even as a, part of an entertainment as well. I think not much people already use antennas kasi naka-cable na lahat. But for most instances, all TVs or television sets are attached to the internet already. Okay, so all in all, there were approximately 7.6 television homes in the country's urban areas. Okay, half of this is in Metro Manila, and sometimes umaabot pa siya ng 95%. Okay, so from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, yung according to subscriptions naman, multi-channel subscriptions ng Kantar Media, the Philippines is a total of 2 million subscriptions. And it has risen from 25%, from 19% to 25% nag-i-increase siya. But this was an old data. Okay, so kung ganun na yung pag-flourish ng television, say, from the 90s, how much more at present? Okay, so let's look into some figures. So the population here is 94,852,030. Pero alam natin at present, it has already reached to 113 million. Okay, the total homes, the household size, the TV homes that have television sets, and then the multi-channel homes. For when it comes to internet users naman, mas maraming internet users. Okay. Now, what would this imply? So the television is used to be as the ultimate entertainment or advertisement placement of businesses and corporations. And almost everyone uses a particular type of device. Kaya nga, television plays a very big role, especially in the lives of the people. Okay, siguro nga lang at present, since most households kasi, ano para bang the idea of having a home, kailangan may basic appliances like refrigerator, washing machine, television set, uh, ba yun? And some cookwares. Okay? So that's part of the mindset on how a household should be. So most households have television sets. Now, how did the television evolve? In the late 1800s, nag-start na yung television but it's more on black and white, and it only started with 18 lines of resolution, okay, which is called as the electric telescope, and this was made by Paul Gottlieb Nipkow, and he calls this the Nipkow disc. Okay, so this was his successful attempt to send images through wire with the aid of a rotating metal disc. Now, si Alan Archibald Campbell, Swinton, and Boris Rossing naman improved the already existing technology on television. So what they used here was the CRT, or the cathode ray tube. Okay, so ito yan. Yeah, cathode ray tube. Kaya the older TVs, the older versions of TVs have a bulky back part, yung likod niya. Okay? And this was in addition to a mechanical camera system. Now, what about when it comes to mobile phones? Okay, the joke that we do before na nakabackpack yung battery, tapos yung cellphone mo malaki, totoo yun actually. Pero syempre, this one is already a more improved we call this invention. Okay? And yes, Filipinos love to use mobile phones anywhere kasi pag start ng pag-boom ng mobile phones, a lot of Filipinos really, spend money just to grab, or to own a mobile phone. Status symbol kasi yun Lalong-lalo na if when it comes to a specific brand name, ayun. So more than half of the Filipino population has one mobile phone, regardless of the type. Okay? According to Sinovate, in 2010, around 67% they have a product ownership here in the country. Okay, mobile phones are also considered a must-have among young Filipinos in 2010. And 1 out of 3 Filipinos cannot live without a mobile phone. And this was in 2010. Okay, so how much more 24 years later? Okay, pag naiwan ang cellphone, uuwian, babalikan. Okay, pag nawala ang cellphone, wala na. Parang buong buhay mo nag-crumble down na. Okay? Parang ganun na idea. So if I was listening to this speech in TEDx last night, and the speaker said that 30 years ago, the essential needs in the home or in the household, ang pinaka-importante doon was the television, the food, the refrigerator, yung mga gamit natin usually na nakikita sa household. Yun. Lalo na TV, di ba? Pag uwi, TV agad. Okay? And then, open ng ref, hanap ng food. Okay? Now, ngayon daw, nagbago na daw yung idea on what is, essential to the household. Ano na daw? Pag naputol ang internet or nawala ang internet, everyone in the household goes in chaos. So, ang pinaka-essential na thing in the household is the internet. Okay? Hindi na yung television or the refrigerator that we see. Okay? Is the internet already. So, nagbago na daw yung perception ng mga tao. Okay? Now, of course, for the very first cell phone call that was ever made was from an engineer named Martin Cooper. He called a rival engineer to brag about his accomplishment. Okay? So basically, the idea of a cell phone all started with, Alexander Graham Bell's invention of the telephone. Now, the first mobile phone or handheld device that made the very first call in history was Motorola Dynatac 8000X in 1983. Okay? This phone weighed 1.1 kilo. So imagine 1.1 kilo. Nakabitbit yan. Ano sa pahinga mo. And yeah, it measured 228.6 by 127 by 44.4 mm. So medyo malaki mabigat. Okay, the talk time was only 30 minutes and the charging time was 10 hours. Okay, so titingnan mo, 1983 pa to. 1983 to present. So this is around mga 40 years later. Okay, we have a fast charging phone. Fast charging, mga 30 minutes tops, full na yan, or probably 20 minutes. Okay, and it's more portable. Mga around 100 grams, 200 grams ang siguro to. Ilang grams mga cellphone usually. Okay, and it's more portable, diba? Handheld device pa. Kaya everything that you need is already there. Compared to the earlier versions na ano lang po, call. And then later on, naging call and text. Okay, later on, naging call and text and games. Ano pa ba? And then, nag-evolve na siya. Dumating na ang point na from a single SIM to dual SIM to a triple SIM. And it was China who introduced the dual SIM and the triple SIM. So ngayon, if you would notice, wala ng triple SIM, di ba? So it's either you would give up one feature of the phone or you continue with using a triple SIM. Pero pag triple SIM, gagamit ka na ng extended device. Okay? So, yun nga. Ang usual na na-observe ko ngayon was more on dual SIM, and then the third part the third part in the cartridge is for the expanded storage. Yun. So, hindi na siya call and text lang importante before. Ngayon, ang importante is call and the call and the camera and the storage. Okay. So for the computers and laptops naman, during the earlier times, it was impossible for Filipinos to own a laptop. Why? Kasi sobrang expensive niya. Okay. So if cars of today would cost around, say, 400,000 for a Kia version, or probably more, no? Laptops before would probably cost around half of that. Okay? Tsaka malaki siya, mabigat. Until such time, nag-lower down na yung price to 100,000 to 90,000, and that's the cheapest laptop. Okay? Anyway, most profits gained by computer and laptop manufacturers come from offices, business, and schools. And with the growing number of internet users in the country, syempre nagkakaroon na rin ng problem on internet providers. Kaya nga, even with the internet providers, they would have to, advance their technology in order to service most of their Filipino clientele, lalo na nung nag-umpisa ang pandemic, di ba? Everybody went online. And this was something that the internet providers have not projected, but it became a phenomenon. So they had to work fast and ensure that they are able to provide, internet to the Filipinos. Kaya siguro nga, nagbago din yung need ng mga households natin na internet talaga ang pinamumulan na importanteng bagay. Okay, so anyway, in June of 1981, Osborne Corporation released Osborne 1. Okay, and this is believed to be the first portable, full-featured computer. Okay, pero ano lang to siya, you could just type a few lines here for communication. Pero when it comes to saving data, saving, say, your projects, hindi kakayanin. Kasi kung nakita nyo, maliit lang ang screen eh. And I think the screen is only around 2 inches, as far as I could remember in a documentary. Yan. Maliit lang to siya. 2 or 4 inches. Okay. Now, some facts about the Filipinos. The mobile subscriptions here in our country has reached around 199 million. And the mobile companies are only what? Tatlo yun before, Smart, Globe, and Sun. Ngayon daw, dalawa na lang. Globe and Smart na lang. Okay? But it has reached 199 million, even exceeding the number of population that we have. So what does this tell us? one person could have two mobile phone subscription or three. And yeah, we spend most hours in mobile for an estimate of 3.2 hours and on the desktop for around 5.2 hours daily. And if you would count of all the 192 member countries of the UN, yeah, I guess you could just include all other countries that were not members of the UN. Ano na siya? Our country has the highest digital population in the world. Okay, our digital presence is everywhere. Okay. So there are around 47 million active FT accounts, and we are the fastest growing application market in all of Southeast Asia. Kaya nga, kung titingnan mo ganito pala yung ano yung data, it is no excuse for Filipinos to be, uneducated. Lahat tayo are already online, and there's too much information to know being online. Okay, so lahat na lang. What is the role played by these technological advancements? So we've already named three devices earlier: the television set, the mobile phones, the computer, and the laptops. Okay, kaya nga laptop ang name niya because the inventors wanted a portable desktop. Ang bigat kaya ng desktop, bitbitin mo kahit saan. Hindi kaya siya feasible, di ba? So, a laptop would be more convenient and more, it's better. Kasi, you could work anywhere, anything. Okay? Laptop, the idea is you're going to, rest the computer on your lap. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, some ethical dilemmas that we face that yung binanggit ko na earlier. The population grows younger and younger when it comes to the use of laptops. And there are, or gadgets even. There are no laws around the globe that states a limit when it comes to the age group that should be allowed for computer use or gadget use. Okay? Kaya nga, according to some research, the younger the age group that uses technology, the more that the children become lazy and unhealthy. Unhealthy in a way na, instead of playing with other children, socializing with them, building friendships, building relationships, they're facing the computer. And unsupervised pa, all the more is dangerous because there are so much information that they're not supposed to know at an early age. Okay? Mahirapan silang i-decipher yung information na yun. Kaya nga, pag development stage natin, we just, play around, enjoy our childhood, so and so. Okay? And it also helps with the development of our mental health. Yun. So, yes, people are also freely exposed to different things in televisions, mobile phones, laptop, or computers. If before, ang concern was only the exposure of, what the children are watching in televisions. Ngayon, kasali na yung mobile phones, laptop, and computers. Ang part of the dilemma of parenthood. Okay, so, of course, what ought to be allowed? Kasi, this is part of our, responsibility as users of technology. So what ought to be allowed? What do you think should be allowed? Would you like to propose a law that would ensure that there is a certain age group na pwedeng gumamit ng devices? Kahit naman kasi ang registration online is 18 years old and above madali lang i-manipulate yun, di ba? So paano mo i-verify na indeed the registrant is of legal age? Diba? So anyway, as we move forward to the future of our country, the future of our world, robotics is already an in thing. Okay, it's already part of our technological advancement. When it comes to the rise of the machines accompanying the progress in science and technology, it may render humans useless. Okay. Actually, nag-umpisa na to nung 70s and 80s, nagkaroon na ng use of machines in major manufacturing industries around the world. Kaya ang daming nagkaroon ng problema na yun nga, nawala ng trabaho, and dahil sa instead of doing the manual labor, it is the machines that are doing the job for the number of people. Okay, manual labor is gradually being replaced by machinery as well. Computers have become more and more sophisticated. So even at present, mas naging sila, ano na yun, mas sophisticated nga eh. Diba? So, robots usually designed like human beings. Dati machine-like ang robots lang. Ngayon, like human beings na. Okay? They are created to perform, say, complex, repetitive, or dangerous tasks. And ito pa, yung ano, artificial intelligence. Diba? Ewan ko lang. Were your essay taken from artificial intelligence or sa ChatGPT? Iba kasi maganda pagka-frame eh. Meron din nag-submit, 3 sentence lang. May sense naman, pero syempre, I was expecting more since it was for a 50-point essay. But anyway, okay, so part of the dilemma that we have at present is, to reflect on the ethical problems posed by such development. Kasi baka naman, those things that you see only in sci-fi films have already become a reality. Diba? Kasi yung pinakita na, robots would be there to serve humanity, and then later on, the robots have developed their own consciousness and wanted to, be in existence, just like human beings are. And in the news, kailan ba yun? The other night, I think, I was just browsing through, and then I heard this news in BBC na a robot was given a citizenship by a country, which is, paano ba i-describe yun? Weird. Well, that's the first word that came to my mind. And kasi pag citizen, di ba, dapat you're a human being. Wala namang bagay na binigyan ng citizenship eh. But that was the first. Okay, our robot was given a citizenship. So anyway, what is a robot? Okay, so a robot is a mechanism programmable into or more axis with a degree of autonomy. So it only moves within its environment and can only perform its intended tasks. Okay, meaning it is designed as according to the task that that robot is supposed to perform. Okay, so autonomy here refers to the ability to perform intended tasks based on the current stage and sensing without human intervention. Okay, so if the task of the robot or the machine is to sew a shirt, for example, or sew a design as according to how it was programmed, then yan lang ang gagawin niya. Okay, over and over and over again. Yan lang. So specific task lang. Anyway, we have different kinds of service robots. So first, this is a robot. A service robot is a robot that performs useful tasks for humans. Okay, it doesn't include mga industrial applications. So you have here service robots intended according to its use. Okay, so this is an industrial service robot or a pinagsabay ko pala. An industrial robot or a service robot. Ayun. Okay. May service robot yung pinakita sa news before in QC, serving in restaurants. Yung mag-deliver ng orders nyo. Okay. Of course, you could also talk to the robot and ask for kung ano pang kailangan nyo. Personal service robot, this is only for personal use, and it is usually used for non-commercial tasks. Okay, usually by lay persons. And examples of this include domestic servant robots, automated wheelchairs, okay, just like the one used by, sino ba yun?
Pero, ayun, dinala na lang siya pagkakain.
Yung wheelchair na all around. Tapos may translator pang nakalagay.
Converted siya.
Wait lang. The name is at the tip of my tongue.
Yung may opportunity. Walang converted na siya.
Stephen Hawking, yun. Di ba yung wheelchair niya is a special device na yun nga, it could take him to places and nakalagay na rin doon yung small computer device wherein he could, speak and converse with people. Yeah. Okay, so personal mobility assist robot, that exercising robot then. And then you also have the, ito yun siya. Okay. And then you also have the professional service robot. So here, this is used for a commercial task, okay, usually operated by a properly trained operator. So examples of this include the cleaning robot for public spaces, delivery robot, or firefighting robot, rehabilitation robot, surgery robot. Surgery robot, meron na tayo nun eh. Pero I'm not sure if it's already here in the Philippines. Pero ano siya, this robot is used in order to assist doctors when it comes to doing sensitive operations.
Ako pong sining under ito, ginamang system.
Okay. Now, George DeVol was an American inventor known for developing the Unimate. So the Unimate was the first material handling robot employed in the industrial production world. Okay? So ito lang yung unang task ng robot na ginagawa. Okay? And later on, it became even more complex. So what is the roles played by robotics in our society? So it usually eases the workload of mankind. Okay, that we could do other things and make life more efficient and less stressful. Okay, could also perform complicated activities, pleasure, entertainment, and parks and exhibits. It could also serve as toys, child-friendly as well, and it could also be used in movies. Okay, now Isaac Asimov came up with 3 laws of robotics. Okay, so Isaac Asimov is an American writer and a professor of biochemistry at Boston University. So what are these 3 laws of robotics? One of my students even mentioned na, ma'am, ano yan, yung nabanggit na yan dun sa AI na movie. Okay, 3 laws of robotics. So a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction, yun, allow a human being come to harm. So it must protect the human life. All cost. Law 2 of robotics, a robot must obey orders given to it by a human being, except when such orders would conflict with the first law. Yun. The third law naman, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or the second law. So what does this tell you? Sooner or later, a robot might have its own consciousness and might want, the right or the will to live. Kaya minsan itong mga fear of technology that we have has a way or a tendency of coming true. That robots will walk amongst us in the future. Okay, so some of the ethical dilemmas faced by humans when it comes to, the existence of robotics. So unemployment. Now, what does this mean for human beings who can be replaced by machines? Kaya even with human beings, we're already competing with each other. And kung nandyan na din yung mga robots and machines, we also are competing with them. Okay? May limit naman yung yung robotic mind nila. The human mind is limitless. We can learn as much as we can. We can upgrade ourselves as well by learning more. For a robot, it could only upgrade itself once the owner would, upgrade its chip or memory, so to speak. Or depende yun. Unless self-sustaining a robot, di natin alam. So far, I haven't heard of any new inventions regarding that. Pang sci-fi lang yun. Okay, na self-sustaining isang robot na kahit na sa battery life is limitless. Okay, so wala pang invention na ganun so far. So is the value of a person intrinsically proportional to that of a machine exhibiting artificial intelligence? What do you think? After all, we are the ones who created that artificial intelligence. So I don't think the human brain would be surpassed by artificial intelligence. Okay? So humans may also have the tendency to become machine-like. Yun. Since many of the things people need for conveniences to information are available with just the touch and swipe of the fingertips. Okay, so humans also begin to function more like automations. So what does this tell? Are we the masters of technology or has technology mastered us? Excuse me. Now, Nicholas Carr in 2008 asserted that as we become more reliant on computers to mediate our understanding of the world, it is also our own intelligence that flattens out into artificial intelligence. Okay, so yeah. And when we examine certain contemporary issues, in science and technology, especially on information, genetically modified organisms, nanotech, climate change, we have to keep in mind that the building of a just and progressive society entails the constant practice of the good. Kaya nga dapat bigyan natin ng ethic ang use ng technology. Okay? Paano ba yun? Kasi technology yan Walang there's no limit with the use of technology, but humans as we are, okay, we have to put a limit onto ourselves. Kasi pwedeng gamitin yung technology in a bad way, diba? So we must always think of, being good, the practice to be good at all times. That way we could use technology for the intended purpose it was created, to serve mankind and not to destroy it. Okay? So human nature may be corrupted when the powers of our mind, our rationality, and our science and technology become manifest. Pero yun nga, if we are not able to rein in the vanity and arrogance of such powers, that such powers unleash, then we are on our way to destroying the world. Okay? So, yun nga. As much as possible, we should always put a limit when it comes to the use of technology. So, dito na nagkakaroon ng incorporation of the Good Life Early Daimonia, Declaration of Human Rights, and the dilemmas that we face, especially when it comes to technology at play in our lives, everyday lives. And yun. Okay. So that ends our first discussion on when technology and humanity cross. Okay, so I hope I was able to justify how all of these are related to each other. Kaya nga, human rights also are an integral part to the journey towards the ultimate good. And yun. And they should also guide humans not only to flourish as individual members of society, but also to assist each other in flourishing collectively as a society. Okay? So that's how it's supposed to be. All of us should flourish all together. Oh, nakasali na rin yung human flourishing, di ba? So anyway, do you guys have questions regarding our topic for today? Understandable naman yung topic. Easy to absorb. Okay, so anyway, if you're still thinking of what to question, just post it in our GC. For our next meeting, we will have information age and modern society. Okay, so I want you guys to read this in advance. And they're already calling me out. Okay, I want you guys to read this in advance, and then I'll see you guys next meeting. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. Okay, bye, guys.
Thank you, Mom.
Thanks, Angela. Okay. Bye, guys. Ingat kayo.